Welcome to my channel. I am your host Doodlebug, and here are a few rules for my channel so we don't have any confusion and headaches. Alright now, buckle them bloomers. Number 1. Sock or block. If at any point I want to sock you, I will block you. Don't take it personal. Many on here I adore now have been on this list, and we are friends now. It's my fight or fight response, and I'm usually over it fairly fast. 2. My corner. I say my corner because here, I am passing out information for free, so if you need a handout, it will not be on my corner. Go get your own. 3. No bashing people. We all have that one person we have issues with, but please don't announce your dirty laundry or your neighbors on here. If you and Fradia Faye want to go brawl and dust it up after my live, go have one heck of a time. Just be kind to one another, respect each other, don't ask for money. But go on ahead and hit that like because you know you want to. Thank you, and let's get started.
Hi, good afternoon. I hope my sound is okay this evening. Let me go ahead and say hi to those that have already come in. We have Sunny, we have Sweet Maria, Dexter, Tater Casserole, Olden Board. We got Just Lurking, Danny. Hey, Danny, thank you for coming in. Haven't seen you in a bit. We have Tragedy Pimp. Hey, Tragedy, how are you? We have Dexter, and we have Spanky. We have James, Sweet Maria, Just Sam. Looks like Kit came to join us. Hi, Kit. We have Remy Marie. What a beautiful name. Thank you guys for coming in. Hey, Callie. Thank you for coming. All right, guys. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and play a couple videos. It won't be a long one tonight. It'll maybe be an hour, I believe. It may go over a little bit. Probably not, but we'll see how it goes throughout the evening. But again, thank you for joining me. And let me go ahead and get started and quit rambling. If it will share to the screen. Sorry, guys. Give me just a second. I'm not sure why that did that. It will not share the screen for me. Give me just a second. Let's see if this will work. Sometimes my StreamYard just does whatever it wants. Ah, there we go. It worked this time. Okay. All right, guys. So with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and play this. Please let me know if the sound is okay or if I need to maybe turn it up, turn it down. Just let me know. Thanks.
My name is Rachel Jeffs, and my father is Warren Jeffs. Warren Jeffs is...
Okay, so it looks like the sound is not wanting to play. Give me just a minute, guys. I apologize. I don't know what's going on with this mic. It's been doing this. I don't know why it's doing it, though. Let's see. Sorry, guys. I don't mean to keep you waiting. Usually it plays just fine, but it looks like tonight is just not wanting to play tonight. That's not muted. Well, guys, we may not be having a live.
FLDS.
It's not going to let me play. Well, that is so weird. Looks like all my StreamYard settings are okay. Yeah, it says that the speaker's working. It says it's playing, but obviously it's not. Okay. Well, I guess we'll try this again. If it doesn't work, then I'm not sure what is going on here. Or even why that won't play the sound. I apologize, guys. Of course, it has to be something like that, right? Always, always.
Leader and prophet.
Yeah, it's not yet. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to have to go out and come back in, guys. I will be right back in here. I am so sorry. All right, so let's try this again and hope that it works this time. If not, I'm not sure what is going on with it because usually I don't have any problems with it playing as I play it, but we will kind of work with it as we go and try to see. I'm not sure. I've never had it do that to me before though. Sorry guys, I'm super sorry. Let's see if it'll work now. Mm, nope, doesn't look like that one's going to play. Okay, so what I'll do, let's see if I can go ahead and play this other one. And if it's not going to play, I am not sure what's going on. Nope, not going to play. Huh. Wow. Okay then. Hmm. All right, guys. Well, I don't know. We may not be able to if it's not going to let me play, which is so odd because like I said, I never have this problem with anything playing, especially when I share it. And I've got, tab audio to share, and it's still not wanting to. Let's see if this will. Nope, it's just not going to play. All right then. Hmm. Well, guys, I don't know. I may have to. I may have to start over. I'm not sure. Well, doggone it. I'm really sorry, guys. I was really wanting to share this tonight, and obviously, mm-mm, not wanting to play. And I have the sound all the way up. Hmm. Playback speed's normal. I worked my sound in StreamYard, and it's still not wanting to. That's wild to me. Hmm. Well, okay then. Hey, Thor. I'm having some issues. It just will not play. I don't know if it's a setting or what it is. The mic is working, I suppose. It looks like anything that I'm trying to play, it doesn't want to. It doesn't want to play. I am going to try it once more though because I hate this. I really thought it would be a decent live, but if it's not going to play, it's kind of pointless. But let's see. You never know. I'm sure I can figure it out. I always got to figure it out the hard way. Yeah, I'm glad you can hear me, but when I try to play, like watch, like I'll try to share this right here, and it just wouldn't play for me for anything. Nope. And it shows that it's playing, but I have no sound. Hmm. Well, that just sucks. I'm not sure even how to fix that because I had no problem with it earlier. Oh my goodness. Hmm. That's wild. Okay. Well, guys, I am so sorry. Hey Mustang, I can't get my when I share the videos, I can't get them to play. So that's what I'm kind of trying to do. As you can see, there it is, but it's just the sound will not work for anything. I try, and I don't have it muted, but yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not sure what to do with it. I don't know. Any recommendations? Do you guys ever have this problem? Usually, it always works for me, and I have everything set up, for audio and where my speakers need to go. Speakers, when I test them, they're saying that they're working, but then whenever I go to play, it is not working. So I'm not sure exactly. See, I can test it. Yeah, so the speakers work. Huh. Well, guys, I don't know. I'm not sure. Hmm. I can try to share again, maybe try the next one, but I don't think it's going to play. And it says also share tab audio, and I am sharing it, but nothing. I wonder if I refresh, maybe. I don't know. We'll see. Maybe this will work. Nope, not going to work. Well, guys, so much for that, right? Sorry, I'm not sure what's going on with this thing. Hmm. I don't really have any other ideas. Everything that I set up, it just didn't work. Well, that really sucks. I don't know. I'm not sure how to make it work. Unless maybe I do automatically adjust my volume. But even then, I don't think you guys would be able to hear me. Um, hmm. Well, guys, I'm sorry. I don't know. I'm not sure how to play this where the sound's going to be there if it's just going to mute on me. Unless I restart and maybe try to start over, which maybe could work, but then I kind of lose everything that I've already got started here. That's so crazy to me that it would do that. I've never had it do that before. All right, guys. So thank you, Mustang. I appreciate it. It's just one of those that I made up with AI. Um, I really don't know. I don't know if PJ's probably busier. I tried to get a hold of her and ask her. But when I try to share anything, like to share the links or to share the videos, it's just not letting me. Which I think is so weird because I've never ever had that problem. Ever. Yeah, I'm not sure. It'll let me like try to switch to headphones or microphone, but it's not gonna let me. Maybe. Man, I hate to end this. I just started it. But this is usually kind of how it works. That's how I learn is from mistakes. Because trust me, I've made so many on here. See, I've got the sound up and nothing. Okay. So what I'll do is I'm gonna go ahead and head out and then I'm gonna come right back in and maybe it'll work. So Mustang Far, we have Sweet Maria. Guys, if you want to come back in, I understand. If you don't, I understand. I do want to go ahead and end, and then I'm going to try to go ahead and figure this out real quick, and then I'm going to jump right back on. All right, guys, I'll see. Oh, there you go. You should go out and come back. I did go out, and I came back in, and it still didn't work. Unscripted. I did. Like, I even hit refresh. I went out of StreamYard. I come back in. Okay, so I guess the mic is working. Yeah, I'll try it again. I will try one more time because I went out, come back in. Hopefully this time it will work. Nope, it will not play a sound.
He wanted them to
Like it'll
be.
Welcome to
but it's just not
Watch
playing
Mojo,
sound.
and today
So I
we're
bet you I'm
looking
going to
at
have
10 disturbing
to end
cults
this live
you
and
never
then come
want to
back
meet.
in. If I
For
share
this
my-
list,
if
we're looking
share
at
messes
bizarre
up,
cults that
I'll
are
refresh.
somehow
So maybe just
currently
refresh
active.
that one,
There
maybe?
are inactive.
Maybe. We'll see.
He intended to
Nope.
teach each and every one of them
Nope,
to be
there's no
exactly what he wanted them to be.
Welcome
Okay.
to Watch Mojo, and
That
today
really
we're
sucks.
looking at 10 disturbing.
I have it playing. It's just not going to play. No sound. All right, guys. So you heard the sound? Really? You could hear the sound of it? But I can't hear it. Well, what is that about? So have you guys been able to hear it the whole time? Just not me? Well, Wilder. I had is now. I'm like, what?
Bhagwan Sri Rajneesh, a controversial philosophy scholar and professor, founded his movement in the late 1960s, early 70s. He dismissed established religions and instead focused on free thought, meditation, and
Yeah, I don't hear
sexual
sound
freedom.
at all.
Now,
You
there
guys
are
can
two
hear
ways.
this video, right?
Either repress sex as it has been done by all the
Oh my
so-called
goodness.
religious
So
traditions
you guys
of the
can't hear it,
world.
but I can't.
Trans-
What in the world?
I
A marked interest in communist
I'm not
literature,
sure
which
how to
influenced
fix
his
that.
teachings. He moved his facility to Oregon
He intended to teach each and every one of them to be exactly what he wanted them to be.
Welcome to Watch Mojo, and today we're looking at 10 disturbed cults you never want to meet. For this list, looking at bizarre cults that are somehow currently active. There are inactive cults that are far more sinister, such as Jonestown, but we'll save those for a different list.
You would be sworn in as a member, and you would also swear not to reveal any of the going-ons inside this group.
Which of these do you find the strangest? Let us know in the comments below. The Rajneesh movement. Bhagwan Sri Rajneesh, a controversial philosophy scholar and professor, founded his movement in the late 1960s, early 70s. He dismissed established religions and instead focused on free thought, meditation, and sexual freedom.
Now, there are two ways. Either repress sex as it has been done by all the so-called religious traditions of the world, or transformation.
He also had a marked interest in communist literature, which influenced his teachings. He moved his facility to Oregon in the early 1980s after attracting too much controversy in India, yet found the same hostilities in the States. In order to gain political influence, the movement committed crimes such as mass local salmonella poisoning and an attempted assassination of a U.S. attorney. He was then deported, and the movement's commune was re-established in India in 1985. Rajneesh died in 1990, but the movement, now called Osho, is still very much active.
What's going to happen to your holy man?
Bhagwan had always told me that when things get too difficult for him, he will sit in his chair, take an injection, and disappear.
The Order of the Solar Temple.
The order attracted many successful upper-middle-class people, disillusioned with conventional churches, yet hungry for spiritual experiences.
The Order of the Solar Temple, or International Order of Chivalry Solar Tradition, was founded in Geneva in 1984. The order took its influence from the Knights Templar, which had been reformed into several factions in 1805. In its heyday, the order had a presiding council, as well as multiple lodges around the world, in which they would perform initiation rites ceremonies.
Only the elite who had passed treated quickly in the sanctum. Here they were privy to startling revelations.
The order believed that an apocalyptic event would occur sometime in the mid-90s, and that in order to survive, they had to achieve a higher plane. In the mid-90s, over 60 were murdered or took their own lives.
Investigators say that it was obsessed with death and considered it an illusion. Experts say cult leaders told their followers that fire would lead them to a new world on another planet.
With more to follow. Despite this, the group is still thought to have between 140 and 500 active members. Realism.
The Raelians, now 30,000 strong worldwide, believe that space beings created humans through genetic experimentation.
Though its classification as a cult is sometimes debated, realism was, or is still, at some point in the cult category. It's essentially what's called a UFO religion, and was founded in France by Claude Vorilhon in 1974.
It's not only the scientific aspect of creating life, but also the political, religious belief, sociology, everything is. We are entering a new world which is completely different. But there is no reason.
A better world?
A much better world.
They believe that an alien race known as Elohim created humans. The Elohim have been mistaken for gods historically, and any prophetic figure such as Jesus or Muhammad was created by them. Vorilhon, known as Rael, is the 40th and final prophet. Followers believe that the world is in an age of apocalypse, and that new technologies must be developed, after which time the Elohim will return to Earth and share their extraterrestrial knowledge with us. Current Raelian members were counted at around 18,000 in 2017.
The Rael movement has two goals. One is to spread the message, and two, to build the embassy.
Aleph.
Inside, sect members were undergoing survival training. Chemicals and drugs were used to raise, then remove states of anxiety.
Aum Shinrikyo, or more recently Aleph, was founded in Japan in 1987 by Chizuo Matsumoto, later known as Shoko Asahara.
I don't know about all this, but my goodness, some of this stuff looks a little wild, don't you think? I know that Unscripted is into this, and I'm sure a lot of people are. I'm just curious to how many are still existent in 2026. Like, of course, we know we have the old school ones, but it's a little scary. I mean, we have the 764 group for the children, but I didn't know about all of these others. And when I looked them up, I was like, dang, there are so many for just still around. It's crazy. Thank you for coming in, Stormy. I'm so happy to see you. And Mustang, Unscripted. If I missed anyone, I apologize, guys. This sound thing really had me all messed up.
A doomsday cult, and its beliefs combine aspects of Indian and Tibetan Buddhism, Hinduism, Christian millenarianism, yogic practices, and the prophecies of Nostradamus.
The religion is a blend of yoga and mysticism, with bits of Buddhist, Hindu, and Christian teachings thrown in.
Pretty cool.
His catchiest sales point, though, was a claim to levitation.
It started off fairly tame, but eventually the cult became criminal, with accusations of extortion, murder, and forced membership, among other things. They performed a number of attacks. At some point, the group began to manufacture sarin gas and were responsible for the attack on the Tokyo subway in 1995, which left upwards of 1,000 injured. A number of the more prominent members were executed in 2018, but there were still indications of active membership as of 2019.
About 20 members live here, an austere lifestyle driven by the desire to spread the master's teachings.
Hello, everyone. This is Shoko Asahara.
12 tribes.
If you're not in, you're out. If you're not with me, you're against me. If you want to have a strong identity, create a strong enemy, and then you really know who you are.
Founded in Tennessee during the evangelical Jesus movement of the 1970s, the 12 tribes might seem like a simple, wholesome community on the surface. It aspires to recreate the original Christian church, as depicted in the Book of Acts. However, it allegedly exerts authoritarian control over its followers' lives and promotes strict corporal punishment, reportedly by parents and non-parents alike, which has led to accusations of child abuse.
Tessa remembers being sent out to work on her own when she was just 5 years old.
Sometimes working in
Trigger warning, guys. I didn't realize that they were going to have this stuff about children. I think it's too bad. I'll just switch off of it. But it is very important to understand some of this stuff. But if it starts coming down to hurting children, I'll switch it to something else. I promise.
kitchens, like preparing food for the whole rest of the community, or in like candle factories. So I remember being like 4 or 5 years old working with this boiling wax.
Once followers reach a certain level, they're allegedly instructed that Jews are cursed for murdering Jesus, that gay people should be put to death, and that black people are naturally servants to whites. The group has often flown under the radar, but there's a lot more going on beneath the smiling and folk dancing.
They control your logic and your thinking, and they control your money.
Happy Science.
So Happy Science have so many teachings that you can learn about them. So that is a lot of wisdom you got learn.
Founded in 1986 by former businessman Ryuho Okawa, Happy Science focuses on a fourfold path to happiness. Members of the group attend seminars and training in order to climb the group ladder. They worship El Contari, a being that is said to have been born over 300 million years ago on Earth, and
this as the supreme god of Earth, more powerful than Jesus. Allah alone.
さらに私は、ブッダも魂の兄弟の人で、ブッダも地上に送り込んだ。2500年前に送った。
The problem with this one comes in the form of major uncredited claims. For example, that the organization can cure the pandemic with spiritual vaccines. Has reference up to denounce his to have 11 million followers. However, a former member has said it's more like 30,000.
There are membership fees, there are donations or prayers, blessings. Members may kind of rise in status based on donation to Okawa and his large
the Fundamental Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints.
Every aspect of this family's life, who they marry, what they wear, even what they eat, controlled by the man they call their prophet, Warren Jeffs.
The US Church saw some fundamentalist sects when the core religion opted to renounce the practice of polygamy. Those who wished to continue the practice branched off, remaining Mormon but on their own terms. Polygamy remains illegal, however, and in 1953, an entire FLDS community was arrested in Short Creek, Arizona, modern-day Colorado City, and most had their children taken away from them.
We were taught from birth that in order to get what they called the highest degree of the celestial kingdom, you had to have at least 3 wives while you lived on earth. And if you did not, you could not reach that highest degree.
Hold on, did he just say 3 wives? That each one of them had to have 3 wives? Are you kidding me? Oh boy, I might have dug into something I didn't want to dig into. Goodness gracious. Wow. Okay, well, I don't mean to interrupt, but you guys know I have to, just for YouTube rules, but wow. 3 wives. All right, I don't know what to say to that.
Compound in Texas was raided in 2008 after Child Protective Services was made aware of allegations of abuse. Over 400 children were taken from the compound and placed in CPS custody.
We felt like the children out there on the property were in danger, and that's when it became a very large operation.
Leader of FLDS, Warren Jeffs, remains in his position, despite being in prison for life after acts against minors. The sect currently has between 6,000 and 10,000 followers. Superior Universal Alignment, the second cult on this list. Superior Universal Alignment, or Lineamiento Universal Superior, was founded by Valentina Giandraghi in 1981. She claimed to have messages from extraterrestrials warning her of destruction. If, however, she shared their warnings with others, she and her followers would be saved. Similar to the Raelians, Sua believes that Jesus was actually an extraterrestrial messenger. They also believe that males born after 1981 are ill, and that their lives should payment to the superior beings. Between 1981 and 1993, 19 Brazilian boys disappeared, were mutilated, and left to die in wood. The guilty cult member sentenced, but Giandraghi was acquitted. The cult is still active and has been running a website since 2009. The Family International.
Berg preached to the hippie generation about Jesus and recruited them to join him in his all-consuming drive to save souls.
The Children of God, more recently, was founded in 1968, David, and was immediately subject to controversy, as it used sex to lure potential members, which was Berg's own invention, which he called flirty fishing. They established colonies worldwide, as many as 130 in 70 countries. The Family International draw their beliefs from the Bible, yet with a heavy emphasis on loving Jesus, which is done through sexual interaction. Over time, there have been a large number of child mistreatment allegations raised against them.
Reportedly, keeping children is a cult policy. While longing for 4 lost children, Vivian lived here in this small apartment in Sioux Falls, disoriented, unable to hold a job, and subsisting on welfare.
Celebrities such as River and Joaquin Phoenix, as well as Rose McGowan, partially raised in this group before finding their way out. TFI is still active, albeit as an online community, boasting 14 members.
We were trafficked. We were moved constantly. We were never taught anybody's names. So difficult to abuse his name. And
You think that was by design?
Oh, absolutely.
How this stuff works, because I'm telling you, this is creepy. This is not only creepy, this is scary. I mean, if you really think about it, these poor children are just like warped for life. And it makes you wonder, do they ever get out of there? Awful. R says Mustang, yep. Indoctrinated into poor kids that have no choice. Yeah, that's heartbreaking. That is absolutely heartbreaking to think. And this happens all the time. Like, I guess it's just common. This is so wrong. So wrong. Yeah, Stormy, this is, I mean, it's like, wow. I don't even have words.
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications. NXIVM.
To understand NXIVM, NXIVM is the umbrella company.
Founded in 1998 by Keith Raniere and Nancy Salzman, NXIVM started out as a self-help group which offered classes called Executive Success Programs. In 2017, members urged authorities to investigate, initially for a subgroup within NXIVM called The Vow. It was a group of women branded with Raniere's initials and on a rotation to have relations with the founder and recruit members.
The person who's being branded should be completely nude and sort of held to the table like a sort of almost like a sacrifice. I don't know if that's a feeling of submission.
In a sort of exceedingly complex relationship scheme. On top of this, in 2018, Raniere and 5 female members for a number of crimes, extortion, sex trafficking, and 20 years in prison. As of 2020, a number of groups branched from NXIVM are said to be and recruiting.
So those of you guys that know so much about this, like, is this like the Ruby Frank stuff? Is this what she was into? Where she had her children and they removed them. She was the YouTuber. Stormy says some of these women trafficked other. Oh my God, really? Oh my God, that's terrible. Just when you think it can't get any worse, I'm telling you, obviously it can.
We didn't even know that we were being experimented on. We thought we were just kind of learning and growing, but really they were observing and watching how we responded to the lack of sleep, how we responded to lack of food, how all of these things affected our psyche. And we were very weak. We were weak mentally and we were weak physically.
Check out these other clips from Watch Mojo, and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.
Wow. Well, that was interesting. Yeah, Lori Daybell. That's exactly what I was thinking earlier, too, was Lori Daybell. And she was all into this stuff, wasn't she? She really believed every bit of it. It's sad. And Patriot, what do you need from Walmart? I'm going there tomorrow. Oh, you know, my normal, fixing it and cake. All right, guys, here's the next one. Let me go ahead and mute because it doesn't want to act right whenever I don't mute.
Acclaimed prophet Sam Bateman, who was arrested back in 2022 for transporting some of his underage wives across state lines in the back of a trailer.
Hey, Samuel. So you're under arrest for engagement. Okay? You're going to go through the Coconino County Jail right down the street here in Flagstaff.
At points, Bateman claimed he had more than 20 spiritual wives, including 10 girls, meaning people who were under the age of 18. Sam Bateman's group offshoot the teachings of Warren Jeffs, the now convicted cult leader, serving a life sentence for child sex crimes. You may recognize that name, Warren Jeffs, as the leader of the fundamentalist Church of Jesus Christ of the Latter-day Saints and his cults that's based on his. Just to be clear, the LDS, as it's called, is different than the Church of Jesus Christ of the Latter-day Saints. That specific religion stopped practicing polygamy more than 100 years ago. Warren Jeffs didn't, though. He reportedly had 78 wives, many of whom were underage at the time of their marriage. He reportedly also has more than 60 children. As for Sam Bateman, the 48-year-old tried to start a similar cult to Jeff's, living in 2 communities of Colorado City, Arizona, and Hill, Utah. His scheme started back in 2019 when he apparently began taking girls and women from his male followers, claiming divine intervention, that the Heavenly Father demanded all of this. So Bateman began marrying these women and girls. They're not legally recognized as marriages, but both Bateman and the others treat these relationships like they were married. Prosecutors Bateman traveled between Colorado and Nebraska to take part in his sex crimes. At times, Bateman would take the girls across state lines, and that's what led to his arrest in August of 2022 when he drove through Flagstaff, Arizona. Bateman's truck was pulling a trailer that had several young girls in the back. Another driver noticed some fingers reaching through the trailer and called police, reporting people could be inside.
Dear God.
We're out here because there's supposedly people back there.
How many other people in the truck? How many other people are in the truck? Well, I just want to know who's inside the truck right now, so that way I know who else we're dealing with here. Or else I'm going to call everybody out.
As you can see, it's a pretty serious deal here, sir.
At that intersection, there was fingers out the door. So there's people in the trailer.
It sounds like someone's in there.
All of this is caught on body camera video, including when police rescue the girls from the back of the trailer. The youngest was only 11 and the oldest 14.
Are there people back here? What about in the trailer? There's no one else in the vehicle. There's no one in the bed of the truck. And there's no one in the trailer.
This is the police. We're going to be opening the door. I want your hands empty above your head. If you do not, you will suffer the consequences. Again, this is the police. Where are the hands? Let's see the hands. Let's get that other door open.
There was hands sticking out of the top of the trailer.
There's hands sticking out of the top of the trailer earlier. Let's see them. Let's see your hands.
They're in front.
Behind the curtain. Okay. Keep your hands up. Go and walk out towards me, okay? Try not to slip, all right? Just keep walking.
Inside the trailer, first responders found a sofa, some camping chairs, and a makeshift toilet. Federal prosecutors and the women to his commands, and that's shown on this body cam too.
Come with me.
I'll come. Don't press me. Just start walking back there.
Yeah.
They don't need to go in handcuffs. We should get them out of here.
You guys have names? I'm Deputy Mitchell. You want to tell me your name, or just so I know who I'm talking to? Okay.
How old are you? 14. How old are you? 11. How old are you? 12. You? How old are you? How old are you? Why children are being transported in a vehicle? We're getting calls about hands sticking out of a vehicle, out of the trailer. So that is why we're contacting you guys, because it is unsafe for children to be riding in a trailer.
During all this, Bateman talking to first responders.
Is he the driver?
Yeah.
Okay, you have to identify yourself. You understand that, right?
I don't know. I was just wondering. Yeah, Samuel Bateman. I don't understand. But
Samuel, I just got here. Explain to me what's going on.
calm down first.
I'm calm.
You're being videoed.
Yeah, you're being videoed as well. Okay. Stuff?
Did he really just tell the officer to calm down? Because you know that's going to get you somewhere. Yes, officer, you just need to calm down. No. Oh, this isn't going to go good for him.
Samuel Bateman, what's your date of birth? What's running? Then put your hands behind your back. Put your hands behind your back. Put your hands behind your back.
It's not doing this right now, huh?
You are being detained until you identify yourself.
I have to tell my name.
Yes, you have to identify yourself. You are being detained for crime. We're still putting you in handcuffs. Don't do that.
Can I ask you why this is such a big deal? Everyone's pulled in Arizona, then you can be in the back. You can be back of the car. Sir, you're being welcome to sit in out there.
By you? Figure out what's going on.
I did. I said Samuel Bateman.
Yeah. What about date of birth?
Why did I get Social Security?
Bateman isn't super cooperative, and he's like this a few times to different officers.
You guys from, Sam?
I think you know, but
I don't know.
Arizona.
Okay.
I'll just tell you right now, I'm not going to say anything.
Okay.
So while Bateman is talking to some cops and is detained, some of the women and the girls traveling with him get visibly upset.
At this point, he's detained right now. I don't know. Okay, I understand that, but like he said, once we do our investigation, we can figure this out. But we just need you guys to give us your names and stuff.
No, ma'am.
No.
You're not going to decide the outcome of this. We will decide. We'll let you know how everything's going to go. Okay.
Has someone explained you guys are concerned and
They're demanding.
why you guys? So someone called in and said they saw kids coming in and out of a trailer. That in by itself kind of dangerous, right? Driving down the road with kids in the trailer, and then somebody else, one of the aides, saw fingers poking out of the trailer. So now I get that.
Is key. One person mentions what happened in 2008. They're referring to the Yearning for Zion Ranch, where about 700 FLDS people lived. More than 400 children were taken into protective custody in 2008, and 53 of them were either pregnant or already mothers.
What happened in 2008?
My God. Wow.
Okay. Well, and what city or state's that in? Okay. Well, you're in Flagstaff, Arizona right now. So what we will treat you, we're just trying to figure this out right now, what is going on, okay? It is not normal practice for people to be transported in a trailer.
Okay, it makes sense because we're so used to, even where we live, that we're constantly having surveillance.
So this has nothing to do with you guys, your religion, your beliefs, anything of that nature. It all has to do with the fact that kids are in and out of a trailer. It has nothing to do with your beliefs, your religion, anything of that nature. It all has to do with the suspicious nature of what was going on. And then when we do open doors and kids are popping out of trailer, like, okay, what's going on here? So again, it may be common practice where you guys are from.
I actually don't.
You don't know for sure? You didn't know where you guys were going to, you were just riding.
Well, the thing is, I got invited.
You got invited to come? Who invited you?
My friend.
Your friends?
Not long after all this, Bateman is officially arrested.
Hey, Samuel, so you're under arrest for endangerment, okay? You're going to go to the Coconino County Jail right down the street here in Flagstaff.
Are you Naomi?
Yes.
Okay. He's going to take the vehicle.
Okay. Do you have a...
Comfortable with that?
Yes, but isn't it coming?
The scenario I explained to you, that's how it's going to happen. It's going to be a misdemeanor. It's not DV related, so he should have a bond tonight. Give him an hour or so to book him, and then look up Coconino County Jail.
Just call them.
Call them, say this person has been booked. I want them out. What is their bond amount? What is the process?
So Bateman was arrested and he posted bond. He was released, but not long later, he was arrested for a second time on charges of obstructing justice. To protect custody, all of this, but later escaped foster care. Bateman eventually admitted he'd coordinated this kidnapping plan where one of his adult wives drove the girls to Washington State out. 7 Bateman's wives had convicted him of sex crimes and interfering with the federal investigation into Bateman. In April of this year, Bateman pleaded guilty to conspiracy to commit transportation of a minor for criminal sexual activity and conspiracy to commit.
My God, he had 7 wives. 7. Could you imagine that? I mean, you men out there, seriously, I could not imagine. Can you imagine 7? That it's just not, I don't know. This is scary. For these poor kids, it's so scary.
I'm going to explain very simply how the cult began. I am a prophet of God. I'm even more than a prophet.
He said that he was a seer.
Did you become a believer in Jeff Lundgren?
As a seer, revelator, a prophet of the Lord.
He announces that all of the men have sinned. And the only way they can bring back Christ is if the women will come into his tent, strip naked, dance seductively for an hour while he watches.
I felt that for my daughter's safety and for my own, that I need to do whatever it was that he made.
It's not figment of my imagination that I can, in fact, talk to God, that in fact I can hear his voice.
He was serious about taking over Kirtland Temple and killing some of the church officials in houses in the area.
And then began what is one of the most incredibly cold-blooded murders I've ever heard about.
The hardest part was when Ron put Karen on his back for a piggyback ride because she was going to go see the horses. And it was like, no, she's not.
I saw him point the gun. I saw him shoot, and all I saw was the top of the little girl's head when he shot.
The Avery family was found in this barn under 4 feet, clay and debris.
These people aren't insane. They are the coolest, most inhuman people that this county has ever seen.
I am God. I'm mighty.
We, the jury, find the defendant guilty.
Amen.
Amen.
Amen. Under the jail.
Today's date is January 22nd, 1990. Recordings being made at the office of the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms. Let me ask you now, did you voluntarily come down to our office?
Yes, I did.
Did you voluntarily come in to give a statement regarding a matter up in Kirtland, Ohio?
Yes.
Kirtland sits up atop a hill. I mean, it's a nice rural community, but it's famous for the temple, the Mormon temple. It is really a focal point of the whole town.
This was the first historic, important church for Joseph Smith's followers. The Reorganized Church of Latter-day Saints.
Richard, this interview today is concerning your association with a group of men and women that was organized in the mid-1980s in Kirtland, Ohio by Jeff Lundgren.
I am a prophet of God. I'm even more than a prophet.
He told his cult members, his followers, that he was the true prophet.
Are you willing to talk to us at this time, knowing that you're being recorded and videotaped?
It is my intent to cooperate fully.
Did Jeff indicate to you that he had seen God?
Yes, he did.
And that he had spoken to God?
Yes, he did.
He's fascinated by the church in Kirtland, and he volunteers to become a tour guide.
Susan, how did you and your family first meet Jeff Lundgren?
We went to take a tour of Kirtland Temple. And he was the guide. And I believed that there was something there in the temple, and we wanted to know what it was. And he'd explain symbols in the gospel.
He basically memorizes one, and he engages in what he calls scriptural warfare. where he will debate, citing scripture alone, anyone in the church.
And we read in Deuteronomy, if we have those who want to worship strange gods, to do, you were to put them to death.
Were you convinced after instruction by Jeff that this indeed was the word of God?
Yes, I was.
So the people who tracks are looking for words from God, and they start attending his Sunday school class.
He was a prophet of the last days to restore things to prepare for Christ's coming.
Well, he said that he was a seer. He said that he knew that everyone was preserved.
Become a believer in Jeff Lundgren?
As a seer, revelator, a prophet of the Lord, I did come to that understanding that that's what he was doing. That's who he was and what he proclaimed himself to be.
When Jeffrey has his Sunday school class, he gets in immediate conflict with the minister. He didn't like Jeff from the beginning. They discovered that Jeffrey has stolen $40,000 from the church in donations at the temple. And that is when he finally gets kicked out of the church.
Jeff moved to a farm that was out on Route 6. Kirtland. There was approximately 20 acres there on the property.
Simply how the people like to call it. It was natural from the teaching that I did. Maybe 27 or 30 people coming to Kirtland, feeling that it was the place of the kingdom. That's how it all began.
Jeff is my cousin. Our mothers were sisters. And I had just gotten out of a 18-year marriage and was financially strapped and really struggling. And it just seemed like Jeff had the answers to all my questions.
And what he proves to be really good at doing is impressing church members who have money and taking each member for what they're worth.
Any possessions that I brought with me, Jeff had a big sale and sold all of it. I even sold my house while I was there, and I never saw that check. They cashed it and never saw it. But I was doing God's will, I thought.
Different people sold their houses or sold a car or sold this and that, just as it says, and brought the prices of the things that sold, laid them down at the apostles' feet.
They had nightly classes about what was important.
It became a very isolated group. The prophet Alma says, separate yourself from the wicked. Don't sit and live amongst them. So the farm was a place to live together and try to separate ourselves.
As time went on, the classes began to change more to a military aspect, destruction of the wicked, that type of thing.
And he starts talking about how they're going to attack the church. Jeffrey says that before Christ can return, before he can reappear, they have to purify the area around the temple. How do you purify the area? You kill all of the Gentiles and evil people within a 5-mile radius of the church.
Oh, wow, guys. So we're seeing an awful lot of, I hate to put it this way, but we're seeing a lot of people attacking churches now. And it just really makes me wonder, is this part of this? Is there different motives? But the way they said that, I mean, if you really think about it, this past year, look how many churches have been hit. That's pretty frightening.
That was his primary objective, was to do whatever cleansing was necessary to raise the house, do whatever cleansing was necessary to make them out.
What is your interpretation of this cleansing?
The cleansing would be the killing of the wicked people.
They're going to capture the minister. They're going to murder his wife and 3 children in front of him inside the temple. The church will rise up on this giant mountain, and Christ will appear.
We will trim up the branches, and we will pluck from the trees those branches which are ripened that must perish.
What about what do?
Cast them into the fire.
My goodness.
I'm a retired police lieutenant from the Kirtland Police Department. In April of '88, a chief told me he got a call from the FBI and from an informant named Kevin Curry. And Kevin Curry had told the FBI that Jeff Lundgren had a cult.
It was probably a year or so into my being there, it became evident that he was the prophet. And
Jeff Lundgren.
I saw how obsessed he was with the plan of the temple, to cleanse the vineyard, to someone. A number of people, men, women, and children. I mean, this was presented. It was like, in one way, it was what we had been waiting for. That is, to come in the presence of Christ. I was prepared to hear people to get that point.
He was actually serious about taking over the Kirtland Temple and killing some of the church officials in houses in the area. He called it the vineyards, and the phrase he used was to cleanse the vineyards. He was that demented.
For the record, Mrs. Lundgren, you're married to Jeffrey
Don.
Jeff's teachings became more and more radical. Would that be the proper way to describe it?
He thought the scriptures gave him a mind. And Jeff believed that God was telling him that it was time for those people to be relieved of their responsibilities, for Jeff to take over.
The church was in apostasy, and his requirement to take over the temple would cause God to make the mountain in the last days. When I hear myself talking about it, it makes no sense whatsoever, but it made so much sense 30 years ago.
Anyone who had opposed what was to take place themselves, I believe, were murdered.
Were you issued a weapon?
Yes, I was.
And what was that weapon?
AR-100. It's a semi-automatic rifle.
Who issued that weapon to you?
Jeff Lundgren.
We looked at Abraham and patterned ourselves after how he lived. That there's nothing wrong with training men to understand how to defend themselves.
He said that he would go in and he would take care of the people inside.
What is the act you're referring to?
They're killing the people that were inside the house. That was only certain houses and certain people who were supposed to make covenant safety.
You state your name as clearly as you can.
Tanya, Janine, Patrick.
Did you have an assignment?
The ladies were to be able to identify different types of ammunition in their hands in the dark, to tell by feel in order to load.
Load what?
Clips.
Lundgren had planned this temple takeover to occur May 3rd.
May 3rd, we were going to see the Lord. We needed to prepare for that.
I became apprehensive and started an investigation. We have pictures from my FBI surveillance van. Jeff going to the mailbox, Ron Luff walking to the house. I started to click license plate numbers and monitor who was coming and going. So I pulled Jeff over the one night. He shortcutted through a gas station. And in the back, he had these cardboard boxes, like for canning jars. I just glanced at that. And I walked away. I found out later, all the cult members had seen the police pull over. He said, see, God's on my side. Because inside that truck, that bed, were a bunch of firearms.
Well, now Jeffrey knows he's been tipped off. So all of a sudden, Jeffrey changes his prophecies. He goes up on the mountain, and he comes back, and he tells his followers, taking over the temple is not what we're supposed to do. We can't do it because there's sin in our own group.
May 3rd came, nothing happened?
Yeah, and well, it was our sin. It was always our sin.
Who told you that?
Jeff told us that.
So instead of taking over the temple, we have to purify our own group. And the biggest sinners are Dennis and Cheryl Avery and their 3 daughters.
Trina was the oldest, Rebecca was the middle child, and Karen was the youngest.
Oh.
As I recall, Karen was 7 years old.
The local office of the FBI and the Kirtland police tried to keep a close eye on what Jeff was doing, but it was difficult because Jeff required that the people in the cult keep everything quiet about what they were doing.
The FBI became apprehensive, and they picked April 18th for our department and the FBI to confront the cult members.
Because no wickedness can dwell in his presence. It's not a figment of my imagination that I can, in fact, talk to God, that in fact I can hear his voice.
At some point in Jeff's teaching, it became clear he did not to sacrifice.
That's correct. There had always been a little hint or insinuation that Avery would make it to see the Lord.
Mr. Avery is Mr. Avery, or to his family as a family. But the scripture says, and I taught over and over and over, no unclean thing can come into his kingdom. None.
Dennis and Cheryl were kind of, probably the best way to describe them is I think they were like bookworms. Nikki, Trina, and Karen were typical kids. Jeff said that Dennis did have Cheryl under control and that she talked back to him and the kids weren't under control.
Children that will not hear the law of the Lord. Whether they be people, whether they be children, the Lord considers them lying and rebellious if they will not hear the law. That would be sin.
I over a conversation where I was asked Jeff where the Averys and Jeff's reply was so I could have their money.
Cults are about power, control, and money.
Wow. That's crazy. This is just crazy to me. Did you guys know about all this stuff? And I did not know that Ohio was full of cults. I'm glad you said something, Dexter. I had no idea. Or maybe it was Sunny, but yeah, this is crazy to me. This is wild. And the fact that they would hurt children is just unreal. It just shows you that we just have so much evil. It's everywhere, and it's been everywhere. It's just showing its head a lot lately.
Dennis Avery and Cheryl Avery were no longer giving the amount of money that Jeff wanted, and that's what he did.
Was it clear in your mind that other group members also knew that the Averys were slated for their demise?
Yeah, it's clear in my mind that everybody knew who was slated for what.
The sad thing is that there was nobody in that group that would have fought for them because everybody was so convinced that the Averys were worthless.
There was a hole that was dug. It was placed in the barn. The reason why the barn was picked was because everything that he explained came out of the records, warped as it may sound, but the barn was red, and he explained it as Pharaoh's army coming against them at the Red Sea, and they were swallowed in the depths of the Red Sea.
The desperate and were to be covered. And so, in fact, putting them in a pit or a hole in the ground and covering them fulfilled the definitions of the word.
So, am I to assume that Jeff showed you the spot that he wanted it dug?
Yes, he did.
Okay.
And how long did it take you to build to dig this hole?
It might have been less than a week because it was prepared.
Yes. Did they have the opportunity to repent? Yes. Would they repent? The answer is no.
We were told that we're getting ready to go in the wilderness, and when we went in the wilderness, we couldn't see the Lord with people who had sinned. And so those who didn't have sin should repent, or they would be done away.
What did you mean done away?
Killed.
Did you attempt to do it? Did you report this to the authorities? Can you explain why you didn't do that?
Because I was afraid to do it to him too if I did.
So Jeffrey has the Averys come over for the Last Supper. And it is one of the most incredibly cold-blooded murders I've ever heard about.
Ron, at this point, do you think the Averys knew something was going to happen or suspicioned anything?
No, I don't believe they suspected a thing.
I believe they were believers again.
They were taught and led to believe that at this point in time we were going into the wilderness and that they were going with us.
Was the whole group there at the supper?
Yes.
Was the whole group at this point aware that the Averys were to be killed?
Yes. So then it came time and he said, okay, let's go out to the barn. So we went out to the barn, probably 7:30 in the evening. Everything was set up. There was a stun gun that had been purchased. And
what did Jeff tell you to do next?
He said that I want his
being who?
Dennis Avery. Want his mouth taped and his hands taped in front of him and tape wrapped around his ankles to hold his feet together.
Wow. Okay. My God, I didn't realize it was going to get this far. Of course, there is a trigger warning at the bottom of the screen. If you're on the vertical, then you have it at the top. But this is 18 years and up, guys. This is just cruel. It's awful. It's horrible. This is not anything to do with God. This is power hungry, just crazy cult behavior. I don't understand any of it. I really don't. I definitely don't understand why they felt the need to kill him. That just will never make sense to me. But I mean, this guy obviously thinks he's God, which is crazy in itself.
He wanted that done prior to walking into the room where the hole was.
They were to be bound hand and foot and cast into darkness. And the Hebrew darkness is defined as death and destruction.
The reason why Dennis Avery's eyes weren't taped was because he was supposed to see Jeff Lundgren eye to eye while the execution was to take place.
With the women, he wanted their eyes taped so that they wouldn't see anything. He didn't want them to see anything. Then he said, okay, let's do it.
And what did you do now?
I went in and I told Dennis that he was needed in the barn.
You went to the house?
To the house. Told Dennis he was needed at the barn. And when he walked through the door, I lifted his shirt, tried to use the stun gun a couple of different places. Struggled that he not passed out. It only caused him a lot of pain.
Did he make any statements?
He just said, what isn't necessary? God damn it, this isn't necessary.
Did anybody make any statements to him?
No.
After he found out,
I told two of the guys to take him in there. The other room where the hole was. That's where Jeff already was.
We carried him in. Jeff was kind of like laying down. waiting for us to bring him in. We put him in the pit.
In Psalms 55, it says the pit is a place that is bloody. And so in searching the methods of death, it was something that would produce blood.
I ran to the door to get out of the room. Right as we started to push the door open, I heard a gunshot. Then the door was slammed back in our faces, and Ron yelled at us, "You got to keep this door shut." So we just stayed in the room until Jeff finished firing. I think he fired 2-3 more shots. I saw him holding the gun, pointing it at the pit.
I heard a chainsaw outside, which I thought was really odd.
Greg was running a chainsaw while the shootings were occurring to muffle any sound at 3:45.
There wasn't anything I could do because if you didn't go along with them, then you'd be right in there too. And I realized if that's what he's doing, is he's shooting me and the kid.
The cleansing of the vineyard.
One man's sin brought a plague on the house of Israel, and it cost thousands of lives. And the punishment was that they took the man and his family, wife, children, girls and boys, and they put them in a pit and they killed them.
He said, bring in the next one. So I went and I told Cheryl that Dennis needed her outside.
The littlest one, Karen, she turned around and she said, "Where's my mom?" And I said, "Oh, she'll be right back."
Poor baby. Dang.
Cheryl didn't struggle. She just was taken to the ground. Right. Don't struggle. He'll be easy.
I think she was very.
Ron and I carried her into the other room where Jeff was waiting and where Dennis had been killed, and we placed her in the pit. Greg was on the gunshot. I saw Jeff aim and pull the trigger, and I saw her go like this, then backwards like this, where she'd been shot, I'm assuming in the back of the head.
The parable of the vineyard said that there were those who must perish. And the whole family was listed. It said man, wife, and their children, and specifically it uses the word daughters.
Once I realized what was happening, the only two thoughts that really went through my mind were, if this is what's happening, this is God's will. And the second thought was, I'm a sinner and I'm next. Never in my trying to run myself. One thing that, well, of many, that I will regret for the rest of my life.
Let's go to the next victim.
This was Trina, the oldest daughter. I went and I told her that her mother needed her in the barn. I just said, well, now we're going to play a game. Someone taped her eyes, her mouth.
And I know this is difficult for you, but I need for you to go ahead and tell me.
Well, then it was the same story when I put her in the hole. He fired one shot and I heard an ouch. And a little bit of a cry.
Ron went in, Becky, basically sitting on her mother's legs. Jeff. Ron went into the house, brought Karen out. I think he was giving her a piggyback ride.
The hardest part was when Ron put Karen on his back for a piggyback ride because she was going to go see the horses. And it was like, no, she's not.
Yeah, that's just pure evil. I can't imagine why they thought that was even remotely okay. Poor baby. My God. And then gave her a piggyback ride. This is awful. This is pure evil. Nothing but evil.
They came out, sat her down. I taped her feet up. Danny taped her hands. Her eyes and her mouth were taped. I can't remember who did that. And then Ron picked Karen up and went into the room.
I saw him point the gun. I saw him shoot. And all I saw was the top of the little girl's head. And then I left the room.
Your blood boils because he's so matter-of-factly talking about, well, I did this next and saw the top of his little girl's head come off, and he's just so graphic and so nonchalant about it.
Okay, then what transpired after this?
He said, fill in the hole. And we took some lime and poured it over him. And there were some rocks that we used. And we made a layer of rocks.
And the Averys were found, bound, hand and foot. And as it said in Deuteronomy, that they were thrown down and that were stones by the other people cast upon them. That we did what the word said.
The whole thing was so methodical. Everything Jeff did, he had a reason for in his demented mind.
About 20 minutes later, Jeff came in and said, we're having class. I was crying. Susan was crying. Jeff told us that we were not to cry. That was God's will. And to cry was sinning.
Here are the crimes of the five. They would have rebellious children. They were a shame unto God because they would not hearken unto his counsels.
He just went into, okay, now our sin is gone and we can go and into the wilderness and more.
The next morning, the ATF, the FBI, and the police showed up at the farm.
We did not know that the night before, April 17th, Jeffrey Lundgren had killed the Dennis Avery family.
They had no idea that the Averys were laying dead in the barn.
Everybody was questioned by 2 FBI agents concerning our conspiracy to take over Kirtland Temple.
All of the questions they're asked are about taking over the temple. That they don't know about the murders.
And nobody said anything about what had happened less than 12 hours before, but it frightened all of them. And that's when they decided they were going to leave Kirtland that night and go to the wilderness.
That night I went by the barn and it was real foggy. There were no lights on, no cars there, and they had vanished.
We had been preparing to go to the wilderness for months. At this event with the Averys, the Book of Mormon we used for directions says go in a certain direction for 3 days, and we ended up in Davis.
We were so terrified that we absolutely felt it impossible to leave and live.
The group was beginning to fall apart, partly because Jeff decided that that he was entitled to any woman that he wanted.
The Book of Mormon presents the concept of plurality of wives. Solomon had 300 wives and 700 concubines.
2 weeks after being there during a morning class, Jeff indicated that because of my sin, it placed my wife and daughter in jeopardy, and therefore he was going to remove my wife and daughter from my tent.
Did he?
Yes, he in fact did. And according to my wife, there was a sexual relationship that was begun.
He officially, in front of everybody, said that she is to be my wife. He even took a .45, chambered around in it, sat there and pointed it right at Dennis, and said, if I rebellion, we'll dispose of it.
Tanya came into my tent for a brief period of time. She was not forcibly taken from her previous husband, We looked at things being set in order according to the Word.
You were, in fact, chosen to be Jeff's wife. Is that not correct?
Yes.
You agreed to that for what reason?
Because it had only been 2 weeks prior that we had all been told of what had happened to the other family that had not gone along with things. And so I felt that for my daughter's safety and for my own, that I do whatever it was that he commanded.
He announces that all of the men have sinned. And the only way they can bring back Christ is if the women will come into his tent, strip naked, dance seductively for an hour while he watches.
Dear God.
That is enough to purify everybody's sins.
In the Bible, being naked was not something inappropriate in the sight of God. Hosea says, lest I strip her naked. A woman was in a state of sin.
He had his own harem. Hard to believe that this was a religious man when he had the women dancing naked in front of him. So you can see that it was a complete distortion of any kind of religious tenet that he proposed.
Yeah.
So Kathy Johnson, who's married to one of his longtime friends, Keith Johnson, volunteers to dance a second. And this is the beginning. Is furious.
I had tried to kill myself, and Jeff wouldn't leave me at her house because he was afraid I was going to tell her something.
And I believe you described earlier you've taken a number of
yeah.
He's getting out of Dodge. Meanwhile, Keith Johnson's getting pretty irritated because his wife has run off to California with Jeffrey. So Keith decides to tell everybody. So he contacts the ATF and says there's bodies buried in the barn.
There was a map of the barn that was made by Keith Johnson. It was faxed to Kirtland, to the police department there.
Chief Yarborough, myself, and the Kirtland Fire Department went there. The room was stacked 3 or 4 feet high with all kinds of household items, clothing, furniture. So we pulled all that away. The ground was very spongy. So we started digging, and at 9:07 p.m. that when
The Avery family was found in this barn under 4 feet of clay and debris.
back here, there's a hole where the bodies were recovered from. Right in the circle.
The bodies were partly decomposed. The smell of death was horrid. And they had to dig them up, lift them out.
It was on the news that they had discovered bodies. So I knew that my time was limited. The free world.
We found the body
at around 10:30 this morning, 5 days after the 5 bodies were discovered in Kirtland. 24 police and ATF agents moved in, took Lundgren into custody without incident. Also arrested with Lundgren was his wife, Alice, and 19-year-old son, Damon. In the hotel room, police found a cache of rifles, knives, and gas masks.
Meanwhile, in Kansas City, 5 other cult members who waived extradition boarded a Greyhound bus for Paynesville. Only one of the prisoners on the bus will face murder charges here in Paynesville, 29-year-old Ronald Luff. The other 4 prisoners will charge conspiracy to commit murder.
These people aren't insane. They are the coolest, most inhuman people that this county has ever seen. And they're going to die in the electric chair for this crime.
Wow. Oh, that's crazy. And I hope they did. I mean, anybody that would even think to do something like that, that's crazy. And the idea that they believed it the most, like they believed everything they were doing was just great and it was God told them. No, not so much. We have one more, guys, and then I'll let you go.
Lead them. We pray for Yahweh's help. Thank you, our Father, for in Jesus their souls. Oh, yes, they abide.
Amen. Oh, Lord, here we go.
I was there for 7 years before I got out. I would call it a religion.
Sorry, guys, it kicked that one right off there. It is storming, so that could be it. But usually I don't have this much trouble. Sorry, I apologize. Hopefully this works. There we go.
It was just kind of spooky, and it was about 7.5 acres. And there's this
Guys, let me know when you can see me again. Am I back yet, guys? Can you see the screen at least? I guess it gave me a little warning. I didn't pause enough in between, so I'm sure that's what happened. When you guys can hear me and see the screen, please let me know. Okay, good, good. All right, then I'll try to play this other one. I'm going to have to pause a little bit more because I guess I didn't with the other. Usually I never have any trouble with them. But, you know, things happen. All right, so let me go ahead and share this. And I'll have to pause in between a little bit more this time.
I couldn't find any record of Lou Castro that lived at that location.
He had his own religious beliefs. It's very different from anything that I had really heard. He believed in angels and he believed in higher power.
His word was sacrosanct, and no one challenged it, and he had a complete authority.
Lou always claimed to be hundreds of years old, that his body was taken over by different angels. Those angels were named Arthur, Daniel. He was the angel of death.
Oh. He could predict the future, direct connection with God. And so he felt like everybody there was part of a special group of angels under his power.
We were just all a family.
No, just one big family, one big happy family, guys.
My mom was a real estate agent for as long as I can remember. And she had met Lou through some.
Welcome, Leslie. I'm so happy to see you. Hey, Doodle. Sorry I didn't get to say hello to you live. But hey, thank you for coming in here. And Edward. I guess I'm gonna have to pause in between. I'm not sure how much I have to pause. It's choppy. Okay, let me see if I can figure out why. I don't know what is going on with your internet, except that we're getting some storms. So hopefully now it'll kind of fix itself. If not, then I'll go ahead and end it. If it gets too bad, guys, just let me know, please.
Friends.
And you know that's the saddest part about all of this is that these children are actually raised into this stuff. And then now we have these two sisters that you know the outcome's not going to be good. So these children just absolutely have no choice. None whatsoever. That's so heartbreaking. And the fact that they all, as a group, even believe the same nonsense is even more astonishing. It's like, what in the world is... I just don't get it. I don't understand. Look at those eyes. I mean, they're almost just black. Yes, Edward, I agree. It's definitely mind control. And I guess they do this from a very early age. Like, they start controlling these children on up to their adulthood. That's just frightening. And it's scary to think that that's probably in each one of our states, honestly. We just don't realize.
Child.
All right, guys. I guess I'm gonna have to go ahead and end it. I don't know if it's the storming. I don't know if it's just the YouTube itself, but I'm gonna go ahead and have to end. Thank you all for joining me this evening. I greatly appreciate each and every one of you. I'm not sure. It could be storming. Maybe that's it. But I'm just gonna go ahead and end it for the night, guys. I don't look for it to come back anytime soon. Maybe. I'm not sure what's going on.
In a world that turns too fast, some are lost, left in the past. But we won't let silence win. We'll speak their names again. Voices rising through the dark. Every story leaves a mark. We are the ones who won't forget. The fight for truth is not done yet. We shine the light, we raise the call. For the missing, the broken, we stand tall. For justice, for healing, forever.